I think I'm gonna... Ew, I can see myself. I don't like that. Is that... Yeah. You wait for death to take me. We're trying out dual streaming. Apparently, I can't. I need to adjust this. Hold on. It won't let me do it to TikTok. Death to take me. He won't for you to save me. Ain't for nothing. Die for nothing. Why does this look like shit? Is that better? Worse? To take me, keep on for you to save me. Something, die for nothing. I can't tell. Hi, Omar. I can't tell if this is like. Hello. Maybe it's just like the contrast needs to be less shit. Hello, Aristius. Hello. I was just live on TikTok. So don't look at my feet! Don't look at him! Don't look at him! Hello! Hello, Ghost of War! From the arm of the artist. The arm of the artist, running the blood from the arm of the artist. Okay. The human, it's only human. Am I on just chatting or am I on League of Legos? Arm of the artist. Also, can someone, oh, never mind. Okay. I was gonna say, can somebody like put in a message so I can see if chat works? It does. We're fine. Says League. Okay. Awesome. Sick. Hey, Travis. Thanks. I got, humanized for an interview that ended up getting rescheduled, unfortunately. But I was like, you know what? I'll take advantage of it and stream, I guess. So I'm like, you know what? I should do the. Sorry, I just got a crazy ass email. What the fuck was I saying? I think I was gonna talk about the fact that I was dual streaming, but like my brain just kind of short-circuited a bit. Drain the blood from the arm of the artist. The arm of the artist. Can I change? Because currently this chat shows messages from top down, and I don't like that. Like, only when it's like... Only when it's like popped out, it does that. Appearance? Compact mode? Filtering? Oh, okay, I'll just go fuck myself. Yeah, interview got rescheduled. Your bitrate settings is out of recommended for Twitch. Please set bitrate value less than 6,000. You're not my dad. Sorry. Man. I will say I really like the layout for TikTok streaming. I think it's really fucking cool. This was the game that I just played. My Yasuo was really mean to me and told me that I was a last hitting bot. And said that my methods were unorthodox. Or something about being unorthodox. And I'm like, this is very on brand for a Yasuo right now. Yeah, that's essentially what my response was. I was like, this is extremely on brand. Yeah, he kept going in and dying, and he was like, what? We could kill Karthus, and I'm like, there's 3 other people there. So you can actually stream landscape on TikTok. There's a feature to like do both. So like it'll adjust depending on the orientation of your screen. But I have to have streamed 3 times to unlock that. Which is kind of an interesting setup. It's set up like you have to stream for 25 minutes 3 times. I had to stream 25 minutes on regular TikTok Live in order to get access to the TikTok Live Studio, which is very cool. I mean, I get it. It's so people like actually use it. Ugh. Backwards out of heaven. At least now, like I can just play my music. TikTok scares me with copyright music. I don't know. Hello, Hadriel. Ma'am, the tiredness is unmatched. I've had a large coffee and I took my Ritalin today and I'm still fucking tired. Crawl backwards out of heaven. The secret in play. sort of kind of wish I decided to play Kate. But that's okay. It's starting to flake. Flaky guy. Look, I look like I have a real sleeve now when I wear short sleeve shirts. You just gotta ignore my naked ass shoulder. They picked Kate. What little bitches? How dare? Maybe I should... Specifically so I can show off my cool arm. Oh shit. Oh, look. Oh. My arm? It's cool. Thanks. I didn't even realize that it was visible. I'm probably gonna do my elbow next. It's gonna hurt like a motherfucking bitch. And I'm just doing spider web. Thank you, I try. Ow. Ow. Ugh. I'm so glad I won that last game. It's a Neferi support. Fizz in my sock. That's actually it. I don't know why, but I kind of really like her name.
Minions have spawned.
My hips. When I got up to take a pee break, my hips were so fucking stiff. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking old. I mean, I'm not. My body is just fucking broken. Hello? I had no idea what was happening for a second. Yeah, that's what I thought. Whoops. I don't want to talk about my brain. Are you sure you want to fucking do that? Yeah, that's what I thought. No! I don't have mana. Wait. What the fuck? Am I gonna die right now? No, 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 no! I'm sad. But you know what? Bot lane ain't get shit. There's so much fucking happening, dude. Hello? Thank you. There's just so much happening all the time. Dude, what is happening? This is such a weird fucking lane. Just like there's just this lane is like really fucking chaotic. I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. Actually, I want this cannon. These games, man. Okay, I helped. Oh no. Yeah, focus at Viego.
Double kill.
Yay! They're not very good. Let's get this and then back. Walk up. Oh! It's so good. Yeah, I ain't risking that shit. I'd rather burn an unnecessary flash than feed Viego again. Bitch! Oop. Hey Lamar, what's up? Yo, shit, wrecked. How? This Viego. She's so fucking low, dude.
An ally has been slain.
She's baiting me for a reason.
Turret plating will fall soon. An enemy has been slain.
So the only real problem on their team is just gonna be Viego. You dumb bitch. I can't believe I got those. I almost feel bad.
Ally has been slain.
Oh shit.
An ally has been slain.
Alright, we're gonna need to do some tidying up. They're gonna grab Heralds, but... What the fuck? I wanted that Talia so bad. I hear. Okay. I'm a thirsty bitch. What can I say? Go in. You can leave. Are you kidding me, dude? What do you fucking mean? Please just auto her. Thank you. God damn. Stupid ass champion, dude. I went to turn on him. But then Cake was right there with like 2 HP. Oh, I always forget about these. Oh, it's already gone. No. I'm about to make his life a living fucking hell. Come here, motherfucker. I don't know if it was worth all that, but... I have red buff. Okay, let's go. Can't fucking move. He can't stop us.
An enemy is legendary.
We got it, right? Okay, we got it.
Been slain.
I'm just gonna walk back to base. I can definitely deal with him. But as long as I have peel. You sure you want to do that, dude? Yeah, that's what I thought. Please get the fucking Viego. Now she's dead. Oh, okay. Actually, I think she's okay. Oh my god, dude. What did I literally just fucking say? Holy fuck. What's up, Tom? Oh, man. Why?
Your turret has been destroyed.
15-1. Oh, shit! Oops. I was warding. And guess what didn't fucking go off? My ward! Oh, I'm gonna fucking kill myself, actually.
An enemy is legendary.
I'm actually gonna fucking kill myself. Holy shit, this guy is a loser. Dude, I'm so pissed. I was fucking warding. Please kill him before I kill myself! Die! Fuck!
An enemy has
God damn! Such a fucking jump scare when he pops up out of nowhere. I need to like constantly stay with people. He's over here. He's over here. Oops. Okay. Maybe we're lucky and he fucking DC'd. Okay, he's bot side. Damn it, they're gonna fucking take Baron, and there's literally nothing we can do about it. Yep. Yep. I am hyper-focused. What the fuck?
Been slain.
Please remain calm. The end has arrived. We cannot save you.
There's this department you've been waiting for. Can you tell me only?
Double kill.
Where's this bitch?
Your turret has been destroyed.
Hold on.
Don't chase, please.
An enemy has been
Please
slain.
remain calm. The end has arrived. We cannot save you. Enjoy the ride. I can fight almost anybody as long as I don't get CC'd. I can't get there, I can't get there, I can't get there. Wait, what? She's dead. Oh my god. I went her. QSS will work. However, I don't think I need it as of right now. Only because I've been to position myself in a way where I can stay out of it. Oh. I'm sure it's already gone. That's exactly what they're gonna fucking do is force drag. Oh! Okay. Fortunately, I stayed in base. Shocker. Now he's gonna kill everybody. Oh, he died. He died.
Ace.
Oh, part of the plan. I just made up.
Okay. Okay, let's go! You idiots. Goodbye. GG. Damn it, fucking minions. Tank it. Nice. Yes. Let's go. Oh good, I still have a Baron recall. Okay, I am full builds. Why were you there? Regroup, 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 regroup. Can't move. Goodbye, everybody. Come here, bitch! Sorry. Okay, I feel like I should have gotten all of those, but it's cool, I guess. Wait, he lived? The fuck did he go? I mean, we can definitely go in and fucking kill them, but... What? You dumb bitch! Oh, you dumb bitch. Oh, I thought that was gonna hit. Come on. Whatever. What the fuck was that game? Easy. What can I say? Oh no, please don't do the thing. Okay. I thought I was gonna do the thing where like it didn't load. Easy. Oh man. Y'all look at my fucking damage. this shit. $75K. No, he did not kill me. Fuck you. You saw nothing. I went 21-6. Made Viego run it down. Hi, Katie. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. I'll do uno más, and then I'm gonna call it. That was a really fun game. I fucking love when people walk around with a giant fucking ego and then I just kill them and then I destroy them and then I win the game. Wait. Hold on. My eyeballs! Hold on. Oh my god. Chat, we're gonna watch a video together really quick. Just super quick. Na, 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 na. Ah. Oh god. Wait, hold on. This is an hour and a half. This is almost 2 hours.
Young people.
I think it's going to be the dominant, God willing, dominant worldview amongst young people in America. And it's
Why is
I
this
will
the
be
most
glad
replayed?
that I will not have been somebody who has defended the genocide of the Palestinian people. And I think you will have to reckon one day that you have reckoned with...
interesting. I want to
mass
question
the Krusty
this. So
Krab?
can you tell me what
No, this
African
is
country is
Patrick.
currently ongoing a civil war?
Believe it or not, I know about Sudan because
Okay,
I'm
good.
not an idiot.
How about
I'm not an
what
idiot.
Southeast Asian country has an ethnic cleansing going on right now?
Myanmar.
Good. And you have strong opinions on both sides?
Unlike you, I take an effort to be informed about foreign policy and to come to conclusions. You are a culture warrior. I believe
My brother
when
sent me
everything is
this.
done, Mr. Kirk, people will see you and the people you supported as corrupt, as
Holy
selling
shit,
the
bro,
country
needs to
out
go.
to the lowest bidder.
I feel like
and as
it's
doing
very on
irreparable
brand
damage
for
to a
being
country
British.
I'm sure we all deep down love.
The difference-
I think you will have to reckon with that.
Difference
Mr. Kirk.
is when...
Sorry, but his fucking face is hilarious.
Hey, imagine a world where you slaughter 1 million babies every year in America.
Charlie,
That was a crazy line to come in on.
Charlie, it's not slaughter. That's the problem.
Hold on. It's a forcible removal from the umbilical cord of...
I love that this guy's whole thing was to just go to colleges and argue with teenagers, by the way. That's really fucking funny to me. He's like, what, 40? Something like that? Like 42, 43? Hey, Siri, how old is Charlie Kirk?
Charlie Kirk died September 10th.
I know he died. He's 30. He's 31. I thought he was so much older.
Again,
I'm sorry.
We have clarity but not agreement. Biologically, you know that your entire coding began at conception. Your coding,
No, that's
your
what-
uniqueness.
That's what I'm denying. I disagree with that.
Okay, when those two cells fused together, to use your terminology,
Yes.
that is where the process of human
scientifically accepted terminology.
In the interest of time, can we bring this question to a
the
close?
process of human development objectively begins.
Let me share something, Stu. Let me also, first of all, let me just change to just chatting before I forget and I get yelled at. Settings. Sorry, I'm so new to multi-streaming. Okay. Let me just preface this real quick. I'm an identical twin. Surprise. Some of you already knew this. It's obviously not something that I like advertise across all my social media. The reason why most people don't know it is because my twin died before birth. In Charlie Kirk's ideal world, because my twin sister had died before birth and my mom had to get an emergency C-section, which included removing the dead fetus of my twin sister, my mom would not have been able to get that surgery, and I would have died and she would have died. I just want to like
that moment. Therefore, those human beings are deserving of human rights.
Just so we're
we keep
clear.
going, or do you want to?
No, thank you. Yeah, you can finish.
The process of development begins from the moment the sperm is being generated in the father,
100%.
the moment the eggs are being generated in the mother.
100% about control.
To say that suddenly the moral worth switches on when they fuse doesn't make any sense. That's just a point you've
It makes perfect sense, because that is when your journey as a human being, when the sperm and egg were separate, you were not yet a fused human being. You were not created uniquely.
DNA existed.
In image.
DNA
Also, like, my alt-right sister, who has about, like, one brain cell, is also pro-abortion. So it's like, if she can be pro-choice, why the fuck can't you?
I thought.
Well, no, the parts of your DNA existed. Your DNA did not exist. It's like saying that we have a full car just because we have all the parts. It was not yet put together until conception happens and the zygote was formed. Thank you. I think we have to get
Can we
next
move on to the
question.
next
Thank you very
question,
much.
please? Thank you.
I would not be able to sit in one of these. I'm too loudmouthed.
So,
It's a blessing and a curse.
fourth question tonight is from Rudy Ellis-Jones from Emmanuel College.
Hello, thank you for coming to today's talk. So my question, as someone studying archaeology and biological anthropology, I've learned that moral codes and social norms have always been fluid, shaped by time, culture, power. So many ancient and recent societies embrace same-sex relationships and even the idea of third genders well before Western conservatism even existed. So when you claim that modern conservative values represent some kind of universal, objective moral truth, like you said on your chair over there, aren't you just defending a selective, historically recent ideology that erases most of human history and targets people who have always...
They're literally erasing human history. They're like modifying museums, and it's fucking weird.
...always been part of it?
No, but can you point to me of a...
He's angry!
Educate me. Can you point to me a great power that endorsed same-sex marriage? Not cohabitation, but marriage.
Ancient Mesopotamia.
As marriage. As recognized.
As marriage that exists.
Recognized by the state.
100%.
And how did that work out for them?
It worked out perfectly fine. It was an accepted norm of society.
Okay, I still think it's wrong.
what part of old society saw same-sex marriage as a social norm? This part here during this fucking time. Okay, well, I still think it's wrong.
Okay. Swiftly moving on. So you said it was based on scripture, and you believe that there are moral, objective, universal truths.
Yes, there are.
So
Murder is wrong today, and murder was wrong 2,000 years ago.
Right. Okay. Fair. That's not same.
I was playing League, and I was about to play my last game of League, but then my brother sent me this video. My brother and I are like the only left-leaning people in our immediate family, so I was very excited to watch this.
But fair. I see your point. But
There are moral truths that are transcendent of time, place, and matter.
okay, but so just to clarify, you believe that this is in the Bible. This is laid out in the Bible. The man shall not sleep with man, and so therefore
Well, it's also repeated throughout the New Testament as well. In the book of Matthew, Jesus reaffirms the biblical standard for marriage.
Okay, so I'm going to make two very, very quick points. So the first, so if we look at the Old Testament in isolation, just to start off with, as an example. So let's...
Can somebody, really quick, I grew up in a sort of religious household. However, I could not have given more than 2 flying shits about religion, even as a fucking child. Can somebody explain to me, pardon my ignorance, which is why I'm asking, why do we have an Old Testament and a New Testament, and what is the fucking difference?
Look at Exodus 35:2.
Help me, thank
which
you.
suggests that if you work on the Sabbath, you should be put to death. If you look at Leviticus 11:7, it suggests that if you have pork, you should be put to death. Let me finish, I'll be done. If you plant 2 crops side by side, you should be stoned by your entire village.
Just
If you
different
wear a
writings
suit,
at
which
different
you are wearing
times.
now that contains 2 different fibers intertwined into the same jacket, you should be burned to the stake by your own mother.
Old Testament is the book that my people would call the I'm gonna butcher that pronunciation, so at risk of like not butchering a pronunciation because of my white uncultured ass, I'm not gonna say it. It's the Jewish scripture. New Testament is specifically Christian. Oh.
Now, following that rationale, in
Tanakh.
Leviticus 18:22, and it states that
Okay,
man shall
thank you.
not sleep with man, why aren't we burning ourselves at the stake as well? Why aren't we stoning ourselves to death?
Gotcha. Thank you, chat.
Do you care to address my main contention that Christ affirmed biblical marriage in the book of Matthew? And can you tell me the difference between the ceremonial, the moral, and the ritual law? And then finally, also, tell me about Christianity, the difference between the new and the old covenant. Or are you just going to cherry pick certain verses of ancient Israel that do not apply?
Yeah, I almost went to a fucking Catholic school. I went to a Catholic school for preschool, which I like vaguely remember. Or sorry, not a Catholic school. I went to a Christian school. My family raised me Christian, sort of. Sort of, kind of. We were the kind of family that's like, we're going to start going to church. And then we do for like maybe 2 weeks straight. And then we're just like, fuck that.
It's a new Christianity.
No, fair. I completely agree. So we'll look at 2 points then. So firstly, if we look at the Old Testament, we can see the kind of inconsistencies there. We've already touched upon that, right? That makes sense. Secondly, you mentioned the point of Jesus and Christ. He never mentioned anything to do with homosexuality at all.
Well, hold on a second. No, he affirmed biblical marriage as one man and one woman. He said a man shall leave his
Romans,
father's
right?
house.
In the New Testament.
No, in Matthew. That is not correct. I believe
in the New Testament.
The idea of religion really intrigues me. And I think it's funny from my perspective, right? So you ever notice in like city building games, especially like older, like Banished, for example. I fucking love Banished, but there's also like, you know, Civ and, you know, a couple other ones out there. Even like Frostpunk, for example. One of your top priorities is to build a church. Why is that? Because it increases morale. Humans need to put blame on something outside of their control. They need to be able to say, this is God's will, blah, 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 blah. Because if they take a second and if every single human were to face the reality that we are in control of our own fate and everything actually just fucking sucks ass, I think we would have a much higher suicide rate. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. I think it's ignorant and naive to think that there's absolutely nothing. However, the idea of like a one all-seeing benevolent singular figure controlling stupid shit is fucking stupid. Sorry, it's childish in my opinion. That being said, like, I'm not gonna, if somebody tells me like, oh, like I believe in Catholicism, that's what I worship, I'm gonna be like, cool, dude, love that for you. Like, if that works for you, fuck yeah. However, if we're talking in like a very neutral perspective about religion in general, and I'm not like replying to somebody who's sharing their religious beliefs to me, religion is fucking insane, and it is crazy how it is essentially just a pacifier for humanity.
New Testament, well, Romans is also in the New Testament. Secondly, in Romans 1, the Apostle
God
Paul talks
commanded me to
about
jork it.
homosexuality explicitly. Also, homosexuality is repeated in the book of Titus and in the book of Jude as not being favorable as the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Not even talking about the Old Testament verses. There are 3 types of the 613 Levitical laws, and you know, of course, in your own way, cherry pick some of them. We do not live under the ceremonial, we do not live under the ritual, but we do live under the moral. There's only 10 of the moral that we as Christians believe we're bound to. Some believe 9, which of course is the Decalogue. And so none of those that you mentioned we as Christians believe that we live under. However,
I like how he literally says, yeah, we believe in some things and not others.
do look at what Christ articulated as the biblical standard of marriage.
It's like, yeah, we just
and we
cherry
can also
pick
look to
what we
church tradition
want
for this as well. And the church has had a tradition for well over 2,000 years. Even myself as a Protestant acknowledges that tradition is marriage between one man and one woman.
And fair point, but okay, say we put aside the Old Testament for now. We'll put that aside and the inconsistencies there, and we'll look purely at the New Testament, following your rationale, okay? Now, when you say that Christ lays specifically, and the New Testament states specifically that man shall not sleep with man, I'd like to point out a linguistic error on that point.
I did not say that. I said the biblical marriage was affirmed, and then Romans 1 did talk negatively about the action of homosexuality.
But ultimately,
it's a fact.
That affirmation comes from lines in there that suggest that man shall not sleep with man.
Yes, of course, yes. The Old Testament and New Testament harmonize one another, but Christ brought it to a different level, a different covenant, and a different moral teaching. It wasn't just enough to say that you shall, man shall strike eye for eye, so that you shall turn the other cheek, that you shall love your enemy. Christ's moral standard was much more even elevated than that of the Israelites and the Hebrews.
Well, I'm going to ask you whose Bible, okay? Now, your Bible that you use currently is written in the English language, right? Correct?
Yeah, the King James Version, yes, thanks.
This shit hurts me too. Dude, I don't know I don't know how much you're paying attention to my facial expressions, but like...
To Tyndale.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's written in the English language, which in itself is only, say, 500 years old. Now, but the Christianity in itself, say, is 2,000 years old or even older, yeah? Correct? Now, which means that the Bible was originally written not in English, but in ancient
Koine Greek.
Huh?
In Koine Greek.
Yeah, correct. Now, if we look at the Greek terminology of man...
Yes, and
let me also just add on here that, like, my alt-right sister, the one who is not so far gone that she still believes in pro-choice, she also believes that evolution doesn't exist.
Jesus spoke Aramaic. You could translate things. You acknowledge that.
Well, we translate things, but translations are linguistically ambiguous. As a former classicist, I know that language can't be translated directly. So
I didn't think there was people that, like, actually genuinely believed that evolution wasn't a thing. I thought it was like a joke until she said dead ass, straight face.
We look at the translation of certain words into man. So I've got 2 words here. So I've got malakoi, which means essentially soft, which isn't necessarily directly saying a gay man. And then we've got, oh God, how do I say that? Arsena koitai, which essentially means prostitutes. Now, if we look at things linguistically, we can pick apart the Bible and say that actually, it wasn't saying man shall not sleep with man. It's saying man shall not sleep with prostitutes, which is an entirely different linguistic thing.
I'm not even getting into Leviticus, though.
But no,
my contention is completely New Testament focused.
This isn't Leviticus.
There are so many things about being a human that point to very obvious evolution. For example, like when your fingers get wrinkly in water so you can grip things better is one. Another one is this, like, I think it's a tendon in your wrist that some people have, some people don't. Also, our fucking appendix, for example, we no longer need it. What's another one? there's a couple of them. Off the top of my head, those are the ones that I can think of. But like we have things about our body that are specifically like, yeah, we evolved because we no longer need this.
So you're talking about Romans.
Well, okay, these words are used throughout the
Right, well, actually, in Romans 1, it was actually women sleeping with women. So you got your verses wrong. In Romans 1, Paul is prophesying about the end of the world, and he's saying that in the end times, woman will like with woman like, and man will, I think it might say man will like, man like. You have to get the verses specifically. But it is agreed upon, and you can agree. This is why tradition is important, and I even say this as a Protestant, is that we believe that Scripture is very important, but also look to tradition. Church tradition has had an unbroken chain affirming matrimony. Holy matrimony being one man, one woman. One, even as a non-Catholic, I'm glad that Pope Leo has reaffirmed in the last couple of days. And so I'm not even sure your contention, your point. Are you saying that the Bible doesn't affirm marriage as one man, one woman? Or are you saying church tradition doesn't affirm marriage one man, one woman?
The Bible doesn't affirm.
Okay,
Well, clearly doesn't affirm.
That is complete nonsense.
Well, it's not. It's a linguistic error. And it gets debated.
You know what, Adorable? I have had that thought more than once. But like obviously, like I am not well versed on Bible shit by any means in like its specifics. But I always did wonder that, and I'm like, I only ever hear about man lying with man. What about girl with girl?
Right, but Christ our Lord, which is the standard, he affirms this idea that you will leave your father's home. Going back to Genesis 12 and this idea of Abraham leaving his father's home, and you will cleave
Support all gays,
to
right
your
and wrong.
wife. That it'll be called one. In fact, this idea of a new creation, which is something that is then used by the Apostle Paul to describe the church of Christ and the bride of the church, and the church being the bride of Christ with Jesus. So I'm not even sure your contention. It is.
But you're just avoiding my point. I'm saying the Bible that we have today is 100% a translation, and a translation
I acknowledge that.
Ambiguous.
And well, hold on. But what about specifically in Matthew or in the book of Romans? And but in order for you to be correct, you need the church fathers translated it wrong when they were within like 50 years of this.
Yes.
In order for your contention to be correct, you have to say that the early church fathers that wrote the early letters to the church, they were.
Yes. Yes, they translated it wrong. The reason why I say that is because there are languages today that when you translate it to English, it just doesn't get the point across in the same way. So like, what the fuck do you mean? Well, they were within 50 years. Bitch, it doesn't fucking matter. The point is that it's translated from one language to another, and in a lot of ways, English can be limited in comparison to the language that it originated from. That literally makes zero fucking sense. Like, you can say that about translating any language to English.
Translating it wrong, and the tradition they established was wrong.
Yes.
So by then we can lean on tradition and scripture. So when you get tradition plus scripture, you get something that is authentic, that is real, and that is verifiable.
I've already highlighted that tradition does not align with scripture. We've gone back thousands of years to ancient Mesopotamia.
But understand, but at the time they all spoke Greek, they wrote Greek, and they spoke Aramaic. So for example, when they were writing the early gospels, the synoptic gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they were obviously writing in Greek. They knew that language. So in Matthew, when they were writing Greek, and then the early church fathers knew Greek and adopted that as church tradition, we have a 2,000 unbroken chain. I think you would irrefutable.
Can you imagine living, and maybe some of you actually like had this experience, but like imagining living my life with the intention of appeasing a benevolent figure that like apparently will cast you to the depths of hell if you even do the tiniest sin of whatever they would consider sins. And there's so many things that you want to do in your life, but you're like, I can't do that because it's sinful. And then you get to the end of life and it's actually like, surprise, there was 0 point to that. You could have lived your life and done anything and everything that you wanted to do without guilt. You didn't have to feel guilty for wanting to masturbate. Like you could have busted a nut whenever you wanted. Nobody's fucking no God is watching you do that shit. It's like you could have had sex with that man before you married him, but now you're stuck with the man with the micro penis that doesn't know what a fucking clit is and also doesn't believe in women's pleasure. you could have. But because you wanted to appease some all-seeing God, you missed out on all of it. That would fucking suck, dude. Imagine.
Say that it was the teachings of Christ for one man
Like,
and
what
one
a
woman.
shitty way to
because
live.
the church tradition has been unbroken for 2,000 years, and they derived it from Scripture of that original language.
You can't argue that. That makes sense. I mean, if we agree to disagree, then why don't we look at biology?
So you know better than the church fathers?
No, I don't. I'm not saying I know better than the church fathers. What I'm saying is, linguistically, there is
Or
undeniably
they're gonna
an error,
tell their
regardless of what
wife,
you
like,
say.
you're not
That
a,
is
like,
our
lens
women don't
maybe, but not
experience
from the
pleasure.
people when they were making these
The
traditions
sin.
They
of the
may have got
time.
that right, but that may not have been their original meaning. What we're saying is the meaning has been warped over time because societal and cultural
can be.
context,
Again,
such as
Like,
the
imagine
British
not
Empire, was
knowing-
Bring this question.
Imagine not knowing the beauty that is being fingered the right way. Like, I'm not even like sex, you know, the societal definition of sex, which is just like P and V. Not even experiencing the beauty that is getting fingered as a woman and it being done correctly. To live your whole life without knowing or discovering the magic that is fucking vibrators, bro. What a sad existence.
It
What a
can be,
sad
but
existence
that
that
is why tradition
is.
matters, because the tradition, they understood the context. They
Tradition is context dependent.
Well, yes and no, because of course tradition is, but if the tradition lasts for 2,000 years, then we look back as to how did they get to that conclusion? How did they reach that verdict? And if that verdict is in alignment with what we see in Scripture, it means that their verdict was correct in
They
Scripture.
never,
sad
they never
life.
reached that verdict, as I have historically
They call
pointed
me
out.
sad.
In
fingers.
all of the major church councils, it was very
The modern day,
Well, no, I'm talking about like
it's
300 and 400 and 500. The original
which in the
church
scale
councils-
of 2,000 years
Going
is
to the
nothing.
BC times
they
with the roast
set
royce.
this
Could you imagine taking a time? You know how people are always like, if you showed XYZ to a Victorian child, they would like fucking internally combust. Imagine showing a Hitachi magic wand to a Victorian woman. Like, grab the battery powered one, because obviously there's, you know, no outlets. I know initially when vibrators were first created, apparently it was used supposedly as a therapy for like hysteria. And it's like, shocker. Busting a nut does a lot for your mental health. Surprise.
broken chain. We've had an unbroken chain and a course that says that marriage is one man and one woman. The church has never wavered on
the kind of
this.
therapy
by
I
the British
need.
Empire under British form of
I'm talking
Christianity.
all the way back to
It's a
like
neck massager, I
200 or
promise.
300. The idea of biblical Christianity goes back to the early times of the church when it was a scattered, persecuted church well before King Justinian and well before the Eastern Roman Empire, well before mass conversions. When it was a persecuted church, the church believed in one man, one woman, and because they got it from the scripture itself. Do we want to keep going, or?
Can we move on to the next question, please? Thank you.
Thank you.
Crazy. I would hate to be
Our
like a
next
moderator
question is from
or a
Damsif
mediator,
Winella
rather.
Fenner from Lucy Cavendish College. Thank you.
for this fucking debate. I would want to kill myself.
Hello, Charlie. Thank you for being here.
He's fucking
Just
stoked.
before I start with my question, I wanted to address something you said earlier on sort of Western Christian values being the reason for the
This dude is
abolishment
fucking
of
stoked to
slavery
be there. He's
globally.
excited as fuck.
I'm not sure whether you know this. I've seen you repeating this quite often. I'm a practicing Buddhist, and it was actually Buddhism, Buddhist emperors, Emperor Ashoka of India, who first abolished slavery globally. So I would ask you to sort of look at other sort of...
I will look into that. He did it globally? They had that much, the Buddhists had that much span of influence?
Within India.
Okay, I'll look into it. Thank you.
Thank you. So first of all, my first question, or my only question is, you've advocated and applauded the reducing and removing of public funding for universities on the grounds they promote ideological biases. Given that universities play
If you sent me back to ancient Egypt with a vibrator, you'd be digging up statues of me, not sphinxes.
a critical role in driving national innovation, research, and upward mobility, especially through federally funded grants. How do you reconcile this position with the broader societal value that higher education institutes offer?
Well, they can, but in Harvard's case, for example, who's getting their funding pulled, they have a 50.
I love the visual that I have in my head, you know, like royal tithes or whatever they're fucking called, where like you would give a goat or like whatever to like pay, it's like taxes essentially. Imagine you're just like, here you go, my lord, and it's just a fucking Hitachi vibrator. And then they're like, your tax is paid for the rest of your life and for your next of kin. You owe us nothing more. Thank you.
$1 billion endowment. Just so we are clear, in pounds, that would be like what, 42 billion, 45 billion? I mean, I'm trying to learn the conversion rate here. I mean, it's an extraordinary amount of money. They can either use their endowments to fund it, and if you have certain behavior and certain practices,
100%,
then
yeah.
you should not get federal funding. Harvard is in direct violation of the United States Supreme Court fair admissions case, which says you cannot discriminate people based on the color of their skin. Go ahead.
But isn't the whole point of it, you can't use endowments like that. The point of
they can.
The point of an endowment is to manage a fund through perpetuity. Cambridge has an endowment, and that endowment allows professorships to be funded to allow for research into sciences. That's the whole point of an endowment.
Hold on, you just said it funds research into sciences. That's what they should do with their monstrosity of an endowment.
Yeah, but the endowment is,
the interest alone on their endowment.
I feel bad for this kid because he seems really nervous and it's making me anxious.
Of most Ivy League schools, they have a $50 billion endowment. Even like a podunk money manager in America can earn a 7 to 10% investment in the markets the last couple of years. That's $5 billion of returns that endowment could then reinvest in whatever
suddenly
they want.
Suddenly now we care about billions of dollars being given. Suddenly now it's a fucking problem. Oh no. A man here has $5 billion and he does fucking nothing with it other than appeal to fucking Nazi propaganda. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, but Harvard is fucking $5 billion to go towards fucking inclusivity in education. Absolutely not. That is unacceptable.
Harvard has become
unacceptable.
A hedge fund with a radical school attached. And I think that's very wrong for U.S. taxpayers to continue to subsidize.
What do you mean? What do you... Jesus, take the wheel. Hi, Jinx. You wanna come say hi? I have a lot of feelings about that statement.
Not just Harvard, you've called on
I would not,
colleges being a scam.
I would
You've
not
constantly
keep a straight
higher
face.
Education institutes. You've attacked liberal arts.
I would have just fucking laughed in his face.
For example, like a
Which
lot
is
of
not
conservatives.
a productive debate.
Peter Thiel studied philosophy at Stanford. Ronald Reagan studied sociology. A lot of them did study liberal arts.
I love this kid. Bless him. He's doing great. But his nervousness is making me anxious. I have to skip forward. I'm so sorry. He's doing great. He's sharing very good points. Very smart fella. I can't watch it anymore. I'm sorry. I hope he has a fantastic rest of his life and
deconstruct summaries definition.
I'm sorry.
Charlie Kirk.
College.
Great dude. Great dude. The nervous energy makes me want to peel my skin off. I'm sorry.
It's good to meet you, Charlie.
It's not personal by any means.
I'm a little nervous. There's a very real chance I could wake up tomorrow, front page of YouTube. Charlie Kirk owns man bun idiot with facts and logic. So
destroys.
Yeah, destroys. Okay, so my question is, I agree that stable
It's
monogamy...
the reason why it bothers me is because that's how I talk when I'm nervous, so it's giving me like fucking PTSD.
relationships often produce the best outcomes for society. But if that structure really works for everyone, why do we consistently see societies, once they become safer and more prosperous, move away from traditional monogamy? And why do so many marriages still end in divorce, even among people who generally try to make it work? And just one final framing there. If you believe in free markets because they are decentralized and they adapt to reality without top-down control, and given the individual ability to form healthy long-term pair bonds very significantly with factors like genetics and ecologically calibrated attachment styles, why do you reject top-down control in economics, but not extend that same rejection to human behavior in terms of marriage?
I love watching people lose access to fucking basic human rights. Like, yay, dude. Fuck yeah. Stake it to them. No more hormones for transgender folk. All Viagra for old white men.
Okay, so the first one, the second law of thermodynamics answers your question, is that it's the law
Really-
of decay. Societies tend
Really
to decay
showing it
against
to
the
those
roots that
blue-haired
created them.
liberals.
For
Am I
example,
right?
As a side note, here in this country, you guys invented the idea of free speech. You brought it to the world. You guys do not have free speech in this country anymore. 30 people a day are...
You guys do not have free speech in this country anymore is a very ironic line to come up. I will not say anything further. I will leave it at that. It's just very ironic.
Are arrested in the UK for inflammatory social media posts. Someone by the name of Lucy Connolly is currently facing prison time for a Facebook post that was critical of migrants. It is normal, unfortunately, for civilizations to get away from how they once operated and how they once were. Now, to your question, does that answer the first part of your question? You were saying, why do they get away from monogamy? I want to make sure I'm answering your question.
I would say I don't feel that that's a full answer.
Okay, so you're asking why do they get away from what works? Is that correct?
Yes. Well, why do societies make this change once they become more prosperous?
Oh yeah, okay. I mean, because prosperity leads to degeneracy, for sure.
What? Because prosperity leads to degeneracy.
That would be the answer. And so once you are prosperous, you tend to no longer have the moral guardrails or the limitations. Let's just say you no longer have delayed gratification because you have instant gratification because you have a surplus of goods, and then you have a decline of a...
You don't have moral guardrails. This sounds a lot like projection. Also ironic because, hey Siri, what is Charlie Kirk's net worth? 12 million. Explains a lot, doesn't it? If prosperity is degeneracy.
Transcendent moral order. The second part of the question, can you remind me, please, what the second question was? About markets?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, for example, I believe in intervention in markets if there is something that is improper morally. So, for example, I do not believe that you should.
It is actually significantly lower than I thought it was.
Because I believe in a transcendent moral standard, and the same goes for my personal views on marriage.
Okay, so I think we largely agree on the foundation. I'd like to propose something that you might like to think about. So, firstly, I absolutely acknowledge that, again, if everyone in society was able to maintain healthy long-term pair bonds, that would be best. Again, there's strong data showing that independent of socioeconomic factors, broken homes are some of the strongest predictors of poor life outcomes.
It wasn't planned.
Yes. And even, I'm not sure if many people here are aware of this, but if you track, as countries become more socially egalitarian, somewhat surprisingly, rates of female depression and anxiety also spike disproportionately.
I like to do like a bi-monthly and or quarterly reminder of like my political views on my public social media, just to make sure that I'm not like hooking in the wrong folks to my social media. So I always remind people, I'm like, by the way, fucking reminder, Black Lives Matter, free Palestine, trans lives are human lives. Generally don't be a piece of fucking shit, and we're good. And apparently that's controversial, and I lose followers, but I'm like, thank fucking God. Thank God.
So
get the fuck out.
I think
get the
one
fuck out
of the
here.
problems here is that when you try and impose moral absolutism, inevitably, again, due to variance and attachment issues, due to industrialized culture, absent parents,
people sad,
screens, raising kids, around 50% of adults in the West develop attachment disorders, which make it very difficult to maintain long-term.
It's so easy to
bonds.
just like not be a
like
shit human to other humans.
Receptors, in density and shape, also in vasopressin. There are going to be, even if there's 5% of people who feel that these rules really do not fit them, they will push back. And this will create ideologies that then grow into more wider appealing.
It's a really great example of the black and white thinking that comes with my autism. If it wasn't fucking obvious, I'm autistic, by the way. Where I literally cannot fathom. Yes, my mom took too much Tylenol. Actually, we're an ibuprofen family, so I must just be an anomaly. My brain cannot fathom looking at a group of people, living, breathing human beings, and based on the depth of their skin color, making assumptions about them. Just purely based on the tone of their skin. That, like, to me, that's like making assumptions based off of like the color of your eyes or like the color of your nail polish. It is a very, very black and white way that my brain processes things. I genuinely, like, I can't put myself in those shoes. If you have black nail polish, I assume that you're probably really hot. Male, female, non-binary. Sorry, like if you have black nail polish on, if you are of age, like close to my age, and we have similar interests, I would probably consensually fuck you if you asked me.
Which then, leads to the exchange. I think this is what happened in the sexual revolution. It started with a push for female autonomy.
I don't make the rules.
And then it was almost morphed into
Imagine thinking
a
you
really
have rights.
exaggerated expression of pushing for maximizing individual freedom. And I think that when you try and impose moral absolutism this way, it just inevitably causes pushback. And I think if you were to, as someone with a platform, instead say, hey, monogamy is great, it works best for most people, but I also understand there are some people it doesn't work so well for, more people would hear the message that you want to push.
Ow.
Okay, thank you for that. That's an interest. I've actually never gotten that question before. It's very thoughtful.
Hi, Iros.
Would you say you're against moral absolutism then?
Hi, Jinx.
Yes, I would.
Are you against that absolutely?
No, I'm very open to having my mind changed. And
so it's not an absolute thing.
Well, I'm against moral absolutism.
Are you against moral absolutism? Absolutely.
No.
Okay, so then you're consistent. So
I think
it's all just kind of. It's preference, not. It's about preference, and you can just basically do whatever you prefer. There is no transcendent moral order.
I think what you're doing, though, is slightly unfairly putting me into a loop, because I'm very open to having my mind changed.
No, that's fine. What I'm saying, though, is that by definitionally, and this is something that will keep on coming back, you must choose what moral standard we live by. I'm very clear as to what moral standard. The lie of the West, of modernity, the last 30 years, is that we're going to have you live and let live, and there will be no moral standard. That itself is a moral standard, and it's a really bad one. And to your point, that yes, it creates more suffering, it creates more despair. And no, I disagree with what you say, and I respect the heart of which you're saying it. I will say that I have a moral obligation not to accommodate when people fall short, but instead try to lift them up towards the standard that is true and that I know that works.
So where I'd push this is I'd ask you describe people falling short when they fail to engage in long-term monogamy. What do you think causes that? Why do you think some people struggle?
We've had some
Many
crazy
reasons.
hair in
Economic
this
is one of
video.
them, but the biggest is the death of religion and the death of Christianity in the West. As America, I'll just talk about America. The UK is unfortunately far less churched than America. But as America has become less churched, so many of these social ills rise.
So one thing I'd say, I study the evolution of behavior, in particular sexual romantic behavior. If you track all the different hunter-gatherer cultures that we can study, and if we track how agriculture shapes things, you see that ecological conditions really reliably predict the prevalence of monogamy, certain marriage systems, and what I think is what we refer to as attachment issue.
I hate that this is even a fucking conversation, to be honest. Because who fucking cares? And I don't mean that in like a rude, like, who fucking cares way, but in like it quite literally does not affect anybody other than the people involved in the relationship, so why the fuck does it matter? Why is it considered a political conversation, whether people are monogamous or
they
in
seem
non-monogamous
to be an ecological
relationships?
calibration to an environment. In environments that are more unstable, it's less optimal for an individual to grow up with a tendency to rely on long-term pair bonds.
Look at this
and I think
cat.
there's a mismatch with the modern world. Again, coming back to
Oh, you
industrialization.
can't really see him.
There are so many people
There's a cat here.
raise kids
I swear.
as absent parents. Daycare is massively linked to attachment issues. This then causes people to struggle to bond long-term. And then again, coming back to the genetic part, there's again real research showing that especially vasopressin mutations and oxytocin mutations, some people really just do not have the proclivity for this.
What brings stability? Because you say stability is a good thing, and what would bring stability?
So first of all, I would say we had what you might consider stability in the previous century.
The mouth sounds. Sorry, I hate it.
And then it became
I hate
unstable.
it. I hate it. I hate
And
it. I
then
hate
things-
it.
Why?
I'm saying because moral absolutism was imposed.
These.
Moral absolutism was lost. You see, modernity rose. We started to teach our kids moral relativism, and we got rid of moral absolutes. So it's the opposite.
So why was it lost? Was it lost because people stopped pushing from
Start
top
bringing this
down?
question to a close.
Why was it lost? That's a question for far smarter minds. I can only tell you that it was. In America, it's honestly one of the worst decisions, not just worst ideas ever, which is modern feminism, largely from Betty Friedan's feminist mystique, which acted as if every woman who's in a monogamous marriage in the States is in some sort of tyrannical environment. And it has led to the women of the West being the most miserable, most
I will
depressed.
say, him saying that's a question for far smarter minds. I don't know why that was such a tongue twister for me. Gains me more respect for him than him sitting here and being like, oh, you share me approval and I still think it's wrong.
Most suicidal, most prescription drug addicted cohort on the planet.
I
think we need to
I am not.
appropriately challenge feminism and tell young women that it's okay, in fact, it's courageous to get married and have children again. I think it would solve a lot of our problems.
Well, I've been told to.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
You're my children. I have children. I have you and Dad. Which is
Our
furry.
next question is from Tilly Middlehurst at Fitzwilliam College.
So I'm a feminist. My question is about the role of women, though. What should women's role in public and private life look like, and what are the material benefits of that?
Well, thank you
Happy to see a
for
woman.
that. Can I take it? I don't even want to take this detour, but can we both agree on what a woman is?
Yes.
What
An
is it?
adult.
Just why? Just have the fucking conversation. Why do we have to...
human female, it's a biological state of being that is also socially experienced. Can I please elucidate just one example of that social experience?
Yeah, I was going to answer your question, but sure, go ahead.
Okay. So let's say you're a member of a tribe, and that in that tribe, you have the biological female anatomy, and in order to become a woman in that tribe, you have to also get a tattoo. That's a social experience that's
Big
mapped onto
Mac, thank
biological reality.
you. I needed that permission.
Can a woman have a prostate? Biologically speaking, a woman is an adult human female that has a biological reality, but it's also social experience, right? So I don't.
Yeah, it's super easy. Like, can a woman have a prostate?
So as per my definition of woman, I would say that people who have a prostate are biologically male, but they can sometimes be socially treated as women.
Okay, got it. So women can have prostates. Got it. Okay. So you're a feminist that actually isn't just fighting for women, you're also fighting for men.
So, yes.
Brother, what do you think feminism is? I know, like, if you're an idiot and you just hear feminism, you just think feminine, you just think women. But it is about equality across the playing fields. Feminism also fights for things like men being able to show emotion and, you know, step outside the societal norms of what it means to be manly and da-da-da.
Yeah, like, men also experience harms from patriarchy, but I argue...
We're talking about the same feminism, though, just make sure. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So men also experience harm from patriarchal domination, but I would argue that those harms come from that system of domination itself. In the same way, for example, this isn't a threat, but if I reached across and punched you in the face, then my hand might hurt. Right? So are we understanding that there are, patterns of power? So I would also fight for the rights of men as a feminist, just as I would fight for the rights of women.
Sure. You think women are happier than they were 4 years ago?
I have a few responses to that. I think that women report more stress and dissatisfaction today because, not because they have more rights or because of feminism, but because they're under dual pressure to both excel professionally and also because of the domestic labor in homes that is structured around outdated expectations. So, for example, studies like the OECD's Better Life Index show that women's life expectancy, education levels, professional achievements have risen in countries with higher gender inequality. So I would argue that what you're calling unhappiness is actually visibility, because now we hear women expressing dissatisfaction, whereas in the 50s, we prescribed them Valium and we lobotomized.
Yeah.
Fucking solid. Fucking solid.
That's really rich. I didn't know women not to complain 50 years ago. That's funny.
She is a better woman than I.
No, hold on a second. Why are suicide rates going up more for women?
I think that encourages...
Forget complaining. Materially, women are killing themselves more. Why is that?
Gee, I fucking wonder why. Why are women killing themselves more? I don't know. Maybe because the rights that we fought so hard to get over the last X amount of years are slowly being stripped away. It's like, oh, here we are making some progress with the bare minimum. Actually, just kidding. Now we're like literally going backwards.
I think that even if both men and women have become unhappier, men's suicide rates have risen as well, and that's also been exponential. Can you at least concede that feminism offers only one potential explanation? There could be also other explanations.
Of course, obviously, but feminism is the glaring thing in front of us, where we have fertility rates down, we have marriage rates down, we have unhappiness up, and we did something in the 1960s out of the universities of Brady Friedan and Gloria Steinem and all these...
This is like looking at data and being like, okay, here are the statistics for all the people with red hair, and here's the statistics for how many lions are out in the wild. Well, there are now more people with red hair and less lions out in the wild. Therefore, there being less lions out in the wild is directly contributing to people with red hair.
That basically said, you're trapped in a home, go get a job, freeze your eggs, take birth control, and all of a sudden women are way unhappier than they were 40 years ago. And I just have to ask the question, why is that? Is it working? And maybe there are biological differences between men and women that we should respect, and that deep down a lot of women want to get married and have children. In fact, we should applaud it, and we should support it, and we should say it means nothing if you're gonna go...
I've not met a single person that's argued that there are not biological differences between a cis man and a cis woman. What we do argue is that who fucking cares? It doesn't matter, and people can be whoever the fuck they want to be, and why do you give a shit about what's in between their legs? It's really, really weird.
Be a CEO of some shoe company or be some banker in
What's
London.
a woman?
What matters if you raise children and you have something to pass down long after you're gone.
Hey,
I would agree with
nerdy
you, but
outlaw,
the
what's
first one is
up,
just really
man?
simple, which is that you can ascribe liberalism all
Thanks
you want
for
as
the
the cause
sub.
of your
I hope you're
happiness.
doing well.
I would argue something else. I would say that it's certain economic policy that has very little to do with the social acceptance of alternative lifestyles. I would say that we can recognize that income inequality across a vast swathe of Western countries has increased, which causes all kinds of social ills, a lack of social cohesion, housing price growth doesn't correspond with wage growth, monopolies increasingly become kind of emboldened to interfere with politics, and monopolies don't prioritize social health either. I think that those offer more compelling reasons for a decline in happiness than an increase in freedoms. Because just one more thing, on an intuitive basis, generally speaking, people want more freedom, not less.
Okay, so if that's true, why is it? Do you agree that the happiest women of the West are married with kids?
I would have to look into it, but I think there are certain
And
studies
objectively, we know that, right? The women with
Oh,
kids.
okay, so every study shows that women are objectively happier when they're married with kids. Can you cite your fucking sources, you fucking weirdo?
They're not the ones tearing down statues.
My brother linked me, and I was like, oh, I should watch this on stream.
Right? They're the ones that actually have obligations.
Does tearing down statues correspond to some kind of smiles per capita data set that I wasn't aware of?
Again, it's a little bit of a one-liner. The happy and the grateful. The happy and the grateful usually don't go burn down Wendy's in their spare time, of which we saw
Wendy's
in our
sounds
country
really
all
good
throughout
right
a single
now.
summer. But as a side note, you would agree, objectively, study after study, survey after survey, that the women of the West that are married and have children, especially a lot of children, are far happier than even the ones that earn more money correlated at the same age.
Yes, so no.
I also don't think that happiness...
No. And I can say this with confidence because I have met women before they had kids, and I still knew them after they had kids, and they're fucking miserable.
This is a very good metric, and neither do you, because you think
that
gay
doesn't
people
speak
just
for
pursue
like
happiness
every
by
single
being gay. They have other
childbearing
moralistic
woman, but
considerations to be
like
making. So I don't think smiles per capita is a particularly convincing way to measure whether or not we should encourage women to be autonomous. I think we should maximize agency.
Pregnancy
growth
can absolutely be a real thing. I mean, your brain releases, I think is it endorphins? Apologies if I like misspoke here, but like your brain releases all of the happy hormones when you give birth. I think it's dolphins. You know, you go through all that pain and like you feel awful, and then the second you actually pop that thing out of your body, your brain is like happy hormones, happy hormones, happy hormones, like all of them. All of them. And like same thing can also be experienced while you're pregnant as well. Especially if you're the kind of person that wanted to have kids. Biologically, like your brain releases those hormones so you form an attachment to the developing child within your body. It's all a part of like how we are created, essentially. It's so we don't pop out a kid and we're like, this is annoying, and then you throw it in the dumpster. And yes, that is a reason why postpartum depression hits so hard. Because it's like when people do MDMA, right? People do MDMA and they experience euphoria. And they're like, holy shit, this is the happiest I've ever been. Everything feels so fucking good. Holy shit. And then when they come down, they're in an awful depression. And it's because you've burned through all of your happy hormones. Like your brain only produces so much in an amount of time. And now it's completely zapped. And that it's very similar when it comes to postpartum depression. That, and then also realizing that your life is forever changed as well. Like hormone stuff aside. Exactly. Your life is changed forever now. No longer is any part of your life about you. Your sleep is fucked. Your diet is fucked. There's so many physical things you now deal with because you birthed a child. You know, some women experience worse side effects than others, also depending on your method of birth. And you have to deal with that as well. It's like I'm chronically ill. For those of you who don't know, I know we have a couple newer people in chat. I'm chronically ill. It hit me out of nowhere. It has now been a couple years since that has happened to me, but I am still going through the grieving process of the person that I was before I was chronically ill. And it's a similar concept. It's an old life that I was used to, that I had way more freedom with. I could do way more with it. And I never really thought about it because I was just living a normal human life. And because of that, I guess I would say I took it for granted. I don't really use that term because it's like I was just living life. But I now mourn the person that I was previously, and I mourn the opportunities that I had access to previously that I no longer have access to. Either I may not ever have access to them again, or it'll be like a really long time before I do, or it'll be accessible in a way that I didn't quite expect. You know, maybe I have to like modify the way I approach things, whatever it may be. It's a very similar concept. You know, you go from being, you know, let's say you get knocked up in like your young to mid 20s. In that time frame, your average person within that realm, you're going out pretty frequently. You know, like maybe you're like dating around, or maybe like you're experiencing like your first love and you're settling down with them, and you're probably relatively healthy. Again, this is speaking very, very, very generally for like a portion of the population. You're living your life in a very certain way, right? You can do things on your own time. You don't have to really worry about another person, except, you know, maybe a partner, like maybe your parents, for example. Like, I have to FaceTime my mom every morning because if I don't do it by a certain time, she thinks I'm dead and she calls the police. But like overall, like you have quite a bit of freedom. Maybe you're studying, maybe you're working full time, whatever. Your life is most likely evolved around yourself and your interests and your needs. Once you have a child, even just leading up, even just like being pregnant, and suddenly you have what could by definition be considered a parasite. That's not me saying that to be edgy or like, you know, dismissive or mean by any means, but like you literally have a living being growing inside of you, feeding off of your nutrients. It is by definition, it could be considered a parasite. Growing inside you, you feel it moving. You feel it moving. It does things like fucking have hiccups while it's inside of you. That's fucking weird as shit on its own, by the way. I have nightmares. About that shit because that's so weird. So all the physical changes that you experience throughout pregnancy, the side effects that you deal with, the morning sickness, the weight gain, the cravings, feeling it move inside of you, everything that comes with it, back pain, overall body pain, your feet swell. Some people get preeclampsia, which is like really high blood pressure while you're pregnant. That runs in my family. Whatever it may be. And then the actual birthing process, and that alone, regardless of your birthing methods, is really traumatic on the body. Some methods more so than others. Like you could give birth naturally, and that's pushing it from your womb out of your vaginal canal. Your body is made to accommodate giving birth to a baby. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that your birthing experience is going to be seamless. You tear. Most women tear. Most women shit themselves when they're giving birth because you're pushing. A lot of women experience pelvic floor dysfunction after giving birth. It's why you'll hear women say, like, after they had kids, like they pee themselves a little when they laugh and when they cough. That's from pelvic floor dysfunction. All of these things happen. Your body is physically changed. You have new stretch marks. Some women, they're unable to lose the weight afterwards. Your hips physically often widen throughout the process to accommodate for birthing the child. And then there's methods like having C-sections, where they literally slice, oh, I'm sorry if this is gross, but they literally slice open your uterus and like take the baby out. And that's slicing through, you know, your abdominal wall. So for example, my mom had to have an emergency C-section with me and my twin sister, because my twin sister had died before they were able to get us out of my mother's womb. And this already, in a twin pregnancy, is already really dangerous. However, our case was even more so because my mom had a really, really rare condition called mononucleosis, where instead of me having one amniotic sac and my twin having another amniotic sac, we shared the same sac. So as soon as my twin's death happened, they had to get me out of my mom immediately, because it would have been a much faster concern, essentially, with the dead body. And then also my mom's health as well. So, you know, C-sections, they slice through your abdominal wall. And a lot of times when you have a C-section, one, depending on the scenario, because you can have an emergency C-section, which is what my mom had, or you can opt to have a C-section for other reasons, preference, health reasons, whatever. You can plan for it ahead of time. But an emergency C-section, typically they cut you from hip to hip, and it leaves quite a gnarly scar. Sometimes, depending on the scenario, they can just do a cut like right above the pubis mount, and that's enough. But there are often times where they will have to cut you hip to hip, and that cuts through your abdominal wall. And a lot of times after that kind of surgery, your abdominal wall is never really quite the same. It is a permanent physical change on your body that you really can't do anything about unless you get a surgery for it. It's in the same way, like when you lose a bunch of weight and you have a bunch of loose skin, like that's there unless you remove it surgically. So there's so many things that come with birthing a child. So all that to say, like, it is extremely valid for somebody to birth a child and then to not be happier afterwards. Actually, it's extremely common, and most first-time moms will go into therapy with things like, I'm sad all the time. I thought I was supposed to be happy. I feel like I can't connect with my child, and blah, 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 blah. And all those are like super, super normal feelings, because you feel all these things once the birth is over. You're relieved, you're happy, you're seeing this living thing that you created, your endorphins and oxytocin's going crazy, and then you experience that zapped effect of being deficient in those hormones. And then again, like I was just saying, the grieving process of whatever it put you through, whether it's like your life being forever changed, your physical body changes, the health issues that you may or may not have temporarily or permanently because of it, the trauma that comes with it. I don't even think people really think about the medical trauma that can come with giving birth, even if your birth is relatively seamless. There are a lot of things that can happen. It's also just fucking weird. So all of that to say, I can say with absolute certainty that women who are married with kids are not substantially happier than women who don't have children. I would say, if anything, it's probably about the same. But I have known many women who have given birth and become mothers, and they love their child/children. Don't get me wrong, but they will openly admit, like, I sometimes wish I never had a kid. Sometimes I wish I had, my life back, and like I did this and I did that. But at that point, what are you gonna fucking do? So all of that to say that it was a long rant. I am going to hop off now though, because I'm starving. And I've had to pee for like the last hour. But I've been too invested in this. So, thank you for letting me yap your ear off. No idea when I will be live next. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's fucking wild. I could go on for hours about shit like this. Yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna need it. It got rescheduled to tomorrow, so I'm very excited about it, and I'm sure I will talk to you guys soon. Let's see. Let's raid somebody. Twitch.tv. Who's live right now? I don't know if I'll be at TwitchCon. I was originally gonna go on behalf of my job, and then they fired me. So. I'll host Shadley. That's probably where I will be. Okay. Chat. Uno momento, por favor. Okay. Raid Shadley. All right, my dudes. I'll see you when I see ya. Have a good night, both Twitch and YouTube viewers. I will see